It's the Harrison Wolf Show, baby. All right. I don't pretend to know exactly how our civilization will fall, but what I do know is that when it happens, the robots will surely be behind it. I've written many letters to the scientists at Bungle about this subject, but what do I get back? An automated response. I'm sorry, listeners, but it's already too late. Let's just try and vibe it out. Mitten University is an amazing place. I've only been there once, just went for the afternoon. It's pretty confusing though. There are so many different colleges and buildings. I was lost in its winding corridors and cavernous libraries for several days. It was a haunting experience, but I must say, very picturesque. I'm telling you, one of these days, I'm going up that mountain and never coming down again. Life's different up there, man. Slower, colder, nearer the sky. All thanks to the Yetis. We have so much to learn from them. Last visit, one of my Yeti friends showed me how to make a hat out of snow. And I'll always be thankful for that. I have a love-hate relationship with etching. I love the artsy atmosphere, the street performers, and all the shops dedicated to passions of mine like yo-yos and very woolly hats. I hate that a sandwich costs the same as a bicycle. But sadly, you can't have one without the other. Wherever there's a cool vibe, the expensive sandwich guys are sure to follow. Hello, Command 2 Point County. This is Commander Harrison Wolf on board a one-man space vessel heading, I don't know where. It's cold out here and pretty cool too. That's how I would sound if they took my suggestion and made the radio station a space station. This next song goes out to our intergalactic listeners. Hey, how's it going? How are you? There are a lot of things that I describe as magic. Mayonnaise? That's magic. Radio waves? That's magic. Turning one of your classmates into a frog? Now that's definitely magic. Shout out to the wizarding folk over at Spiffin Moore College. They're not so different from you and me. Hey, this is Harrison Wolf, and thanks for stopping by. Today, we're going to be talking about a subject that's near and dear to my heart. The one thing you need when things are getting hairy. You hear something funny outside, or you're just hiding from the milkman. That's right. Today, we're talking panic rooms. Every good panic room starts with its supplies. Now, some things are a must. Your crackers, your flashlight, your bottles of water, sure. But don't be afraid to show some personality. I, for one, keep a bowling ball in my panic room. I find it's the perfect place to practice. Now, when it comes to surveillance, I'm strictly an anti-camera kind of guy. My philosophy is, I can't see you, you can't see me. So I like to keep things as low-tech as possible. I'd recommend strategically placed strings attached to some bells. You hear a ring, and you got yourself a visitor. Of course, sometimes it's the doorbell, and you really do have a visitor. If you want to get real crafty, just leave a load of rakes in your yard. No one suspects a rake in the yard. But you'll hear the sucker when he steps on one and takes a handle to the chops. Ouch. Here's a question from Gyro in Duckworth. What are some of your favorite panic room pastimes? And thanks for the question, Gyro. I find that you can have a lot of fun with a little bouncy ball. In fact, one time I was bouncing, lost track of time, and it turned out that I'd been doing it for 16 hours. I went cold turkey after that, meaning I was hungry and took a turkey sandwich out the freezer. Turkey. Here's one for the more advanced panickers amongst you. It's important to be one step ahead. What do I mean by that? Well, you could do a number of things. You could have a trapdoor for a sneaky getaway. You could install your panic room in a hall of mirrors. Or you could hang a sign on the door that says, "Out for lunch." They won't know what's hit them. Let's take one more question before we wrap up here. Here's a good one. What type of wood would you recommend for the furniture in your panic room? Well, you can't go wrong with oak. That baby's a classic for a reason. Me, personally, I like maple. It's heavy, and I like the added water resistance. Plus, it's fun to say. Maple. Before you all head off to build your brand new panic rooms, don't forget to take a radio so Harrison can come along for the ride. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Harrison, can't they track me with the frequencies? And the answer is probably yes, but the Harrison Wolf Show is worth the risk. Happy hiding, listeners. This is Harrison Wolf bringing you the Harrison Wolf Power Hour. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about colleges lately. Lots of study here, learn so-and-so, qualification this and qualification that. But let me tell you something they don't want you to know. It's a scam. All of it. We've all been quizzed at school, but what really happens during a test? You get a question. You write down your answer, and then some bozo tells you that you're wrong. But who's to say they're right? What's so great about their answers? If we've all got the same answers, then what's the point of there being so many of us, huh? I tell you, it's a crime that they make kids take their tests. Not a real criminal kind of crime, of course, but it's majorly uncool. And that's the kind of crime. I shouldn't have to tell you, but if Jumbo McNally's getting involved in something, you know it's bad. Jumbo University? What a racket. You can teach Mr. McNally a lesson by signing my petition to have him fired into space. You ever thought about why they're so keen to teach us to read? Think about it. So we can read what they write. It makes so much sense when you think about it. It's just another way for them to control us. That's why I only trust the Daily Disorder for my news. They take the regular news and turn every word into an anagram, breaking down the code. You can't understand a thing. It's perfect. You think I got into radio because of some fancy piece of paper? No, sir. Radio is pure jazz, man. It's alive and unpredictable. You can't just learn it. Sure, you could pay some big shot to tell you which buttons to press and when, and that's fine. But that's not radio. Not really. Here's another previously scheduled song that I didn't choose. Here's a question from Kevin in Flottering. Hey Harrison, what was your favorite project in school? Well, it's a good question, and you gotta remember, just because education is a scam doesn't mean all those teachers are bad people. So, to answer your question, I used to like making the little volcano. It's pretty trippy to learn that volcanoes are full of vinegar, right? But how do we collect it safely? I don't know, but that's what they ought to be teaching us, man. I never went to college. At least, I don't remember going to college. Anyway, I turned out just fine. Join me at the same time tomorrow, when the day sun goes bye-bye and the spooky white beach ball casts down its dark favor on us all. Good night. I hope you've taken your medication, because it's time for the Harrison Wolf Show here on 2 Point Radio, and it's gonna be a wild ride. Yo, and hello. It's Harrison Wolf coming at you with the dulcet sounds of the underground. We've got a good one for you today, But first, I should probably turn some lights on. Fully Enlightened Radio, coming up next. A lot of people ask me, Harrison, what can I do to be more subversive? And I say, first things first, you gotta throw out that question. There's nothing less punk than asking for instructions. You gotta take out the toy, burn the manual, and use the box to make yourself a groovy fort. That being said, today I'll be dishing out some details on how to be a more subversive you. Hey, roll with me here. Breakfast is a concept. You think it's real, but it's just another lesson taught to you by the man in an attempt to structure your day. That's why when I wake up, I like a big bowl of pasta and a tall lemonade. Take that, establishment. Clothes are a great way to express your individuality. Some people go to a lot of effort, and I can dig that. There was a time when the Wolfman spent a lot of time on his outwardness. But that all changed when I accidentally put on mismatched shoes the morning after a party, and the compliments started rolling in. I've gotten dressed in the dark ever since. Just you, the void, and something that could be a sleeve or a trouser leg. Live dangerously, my dudes. I like to do one thing every day that chills me to my core. It puts the key in anarchy, or it's the key to anarchy or something. Anyway, it's important. This morning, I ate some chocolate mousse that had been on the counter for days. Was I scared? Of course I was. I'd pushed the limits. I'd broken their rules. They don't want you to eat the warm mousse, my friends. And isn't that reason enough? Questions are a great tool for unraveling the mysteries of life. Questions like, where's the bathroom? And, can I have a bite? But questions can also daze and confuse. Next time someone puts you on the spot, throw it back at them with a, I don't know, do you? Whoa, man, that'll change a person. I'll leave you with the first and last rule to a subversive life. A healthy disdain for authority. I go home 5 minutes early every day just to show the boss that's what's up. Sometimes I even come in on my day off. They don't know up from down. And that's how I like it. You don't have to listen to nobody. Should you listen to me? Where's the bathroom? Can I have a bite? Think about it. It's me, Harrison Wolf, the voice of freedom screaming into a thankless night. It's going to be a huge show today, so I'm going to eat a big old sandwich. Let's power up and power on. Did you see that Bungle launched another rocket into space the other day? I'm sure they'll tell you that it's important work, but what I want to know is why don't they try something a little funkier? I mean, how many times do we have to do the same old bunch of astronaut things? Why not send up a load of sandwiches? Or a robot? Or that angry badger that lives in my garden? Because it doesn't fit with their agenda. That's why. I've forgotten what this segment was going to be about. Do you ever just forget what you were going to say? Thoughts are like frogs, and sometimes they just hop away. But they know what they're doing. If I still knew, we'd never have had this moment. It feels right. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Here's a song. Harrison Wolf bringing you unfiltered content on 2 Point Radio. I don't have an editor on my show. Why? Because editors can change what you say. They can make me say, hey everyone, come to my house and take my petunias. But I'd never say that outside of this specific example. It's got to be natural, man. Give me juice with the pulp in. Give me cheese with the wax on. This is Radio Au Naturel. It's al fresco. It's al dente. Oh, yeah. I was watching some of that Cheesy Gubbins show the other day. You know, the Cheesy Goblins? Man, was I confused. What's their deal? Do they grow the gubbins? Are they trying to find them or mine them or something? I'd tell you, kids must be pretty smart these days to follow such a complex show. Tip of the hat to any kids listening along. Some expressions are more than a little strange, like getting up on the wrong side of the bed. What are you talking about? If you're having a lousy day, there's no need to vilify half of your mattress, my man. Jeez, just have a bagel or something. There's enough negativity in the world. It's the end of today's show, but don't worry. Every ending is the opportunity for you to, go and do something else. When life flushes a toilet, it starts showing a cool movie at that theater downtown. So have a good one, my friends. See you next time. Congratulations, you found me. It's the Wolfman, Harrison Wolf, bringing you the truth from an undisclosed location here on 2 Point Radio. Let's start thinking some radical thoughts while you listen to a piece of pre-digested popular music. All right? All right. Let's talk about the news. The news is like tea leaves or constellations, or when you find a singular glove on a fence post in the park. You can't look at it straight on. You gotta read between the lines. So when I say people in hog sport can expect some minor flooding over the next week, what am I really saying? Think about it. I see Jumbo McNally is sticking with the hard sell on the humbly named Jumbo University. If I was looking for an education, it sure wouldn't be from that guy that sells the nuts. That information, unlike Jumbo University, was totally free. You're welcome, listeners. We're back, but I was never really gone. What do you think I do while you're all listening to music? You probably think I eat a biscuit or go for a little walk, and sure, sometimes I do that, but in a different sense. Nothing could be further from the truth. Here's some more music while I do something totally unexpected. I've been playing some new video games recently, and man, has it been a while. The last time I played video games, you were a tiny hexagon, and you had to chase a squirrel to the top of the castle, or something like that. Anyway, I tried that new Meat Wizard game everyone's going on about, and boy, what a ride. Who knew that being a spell-casting, salami-wielding sorcerer would be so much fun? When you say it out loud, it sounds obvious. Why is robotics such a popular career path for kids these days? I tell you, I'm seriously concerned that we're losing our perfectly understandable fear of the machines. I mean, don't you see what's happening? When you build a robot, you're working for the robots. We gotta make a stand. Join me in flushing my doorbell down the toilet. United we stand, together we flush. We're just finishing up for today. I hope it was everything you dreamed it would be. Think about it next time you're sleeping and all the false realities drop away around you, leaving you playing chess with a sassy hat stand, finally feeling the real unfiltered truth. See you around. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. It's Harrison Wolf going through the county's sock drawer on 2 Point Radio. I just had a very big sleep, so it's going to be a lively one. Live music is like fresh fruit and vegetables, man. It's better than the stuff in a can, and when the opportunity presents itself, you gotta cram as much of it in you as possible. That's just sensible, healthy living. You can't have too much of a good thing. That's why they call it a good thing. When I was young, I used to stand right next to the speakers and drink it in until I couldn't hear a thing. That's how I knew I was full. Did you see those student protests at Mitten University the other day? It's all a little peaceful for my liking. Sure, I can respect the vibe, but sometimes you gotta ruffle some feathers. When I was at school, they took away mashed potato Tuesdays, so a few of us got into the school mascot's coop, and boy, did we ruffle that chicken. It was all friendly, of course, but they knew we meant business. Just some food for thought, my student comrades. Go get your mashed potatoes. How's it going? You're listening to 2 Point Radio, the most popular station in the greater 2 Point County area. Nice. We're serving more great radio with a side of insidious advertising right after this. As longtime listeners will know, I have a wide range of hobbies and interests, but jogging isn't one of them. I mean, think about it. Going around and around a track or a park in an endless, exhausting loop to feel satisfaction? If you ask me, it's just another trick that big business uses to train our brains into total subordination. I'm sitting down, man, and there's no moving me. Bungle gets a lot of praise in the press. I just don't think it's healthy for anything, to get talked about in such a positive light. It makes my eyebrows uncomfortable. Sure, they've been responsible for a lot of so-called technological advances, and some of you might love your automatic toilet paper dispensers, but I was doing just fine on the toilet. Thank you very much. All right, I am out of here. I hope you all have a righteous rest of your day and that the constant fear of alien abduction, natural disaster, and revolutionary upheaval doesn't stop you from having a fine and restful evening. Hopefully there's a next time. Welcome to 2 Point Radio. This is Harrison Wolf, and I will be your host of this little sonic get-together. This is the party within the party, the sandwich and the lunchbox, the thing in the thing. I'll think of some words, and we'll be right back. In the news today, local film star Roderick Cushion is in a spot of bother after he was photographed throwing a bagel at some photographers. It's pretty bad luck that those freelance photographers were in his bathroom at the exact moment he decided to start flinging bagels. I mean, what are the chances? I've lived in 2 Point County for more years than I can remember, but every now and then I still hear an expression for the first time. This morning, I bumped into Ricky Hawthorne, and after a nice chat, he says, "Time to see a man about a dolphin." I have no idea what it could mean. Don't tell me, though. That man's an enigma, and I choose to keep him that way. Harrison Wolf, talking the days away on 2 Point Radio. We got a lot more radical radio for you today. There will be music, there will be speaking, and if we're lucky, we'll have some county-shaking news that'll make us see life differently. Forever. But first, I gotta find my pencil. Wish me luck. I had a pretty sweet segment lined up for you, but my producer is waving his arms at me through the glass. Yep, waving back hasn't seemed to help much. I'll see what he has to say while you listen to my new favorite song. Sorry about that confusion. It was nothing serious. My producer just had certain opinions about the content I had planned. I like being censored as much as the next guy, but little do they know, they can't stop me thinking about it. The brain is the last refuge to the so-called undesirable thought. It's a party up there, and boy, is it a fun one. That's it for today's show. I don't know if it's been a classic, but who am I to say? These things need to marinate in the passing of time. Only then will we know if today was a classic day. Who knows? Maybe what I'm saying right now is making or breaking the show. Have I just ruined it? What about now? Trippy. I'll be back for more radio in the future.